Hi guys! Today's topic is luxury items. I know that there are people out there who will search and search and search for the smallest items they can find to take up the least amount of space possible in their luggage. I'm all for that. I hate carrying too much stuff. I definitely did that in the first north to south trip. I was carrying way too much stuff. But what I've learned is that luxury items can be really helpful for a number of reasons. Number one, having the luxury items, especially if they're like camping luxury items, it's gonna make you wanna camp more. It's gonna just give you a better experience. You're going to be enjoying being out there more, which means that you're gonna be saving money by camping instead of going out to hotels all the time. And it's also going to give you like a better disposition for the next day. When you're camping and you have a bad night because your thermarest is bad, your pillow, you forgot your pillow, if it's cold, if you're uncomfortable, it really sort of sets the tone for the next day. You end up waking up sort of feeling like, ugh, you didn't get the night's sleep that you wanted, or you just didn't eat the way that you wanted to eat, and now you're hungry and cranky. So it really puts a damper on the next day. So having these luxury items can help prevent that from happening and just make it enjoyable. Greg and I have a few things that we carry along as luxury items. The first one, which you're gonna see in Sunday's episode, is the nanopresso. If you don't know, Greg and I are like coffee fiends. We're really all about strong coffee. And here in Guatemala, they do a lot of the roasting, but they don't really sell it locally because people in Guatemala, it's not as big of a deal as it is in the States and in Canada. They're gonna be more likely to basically drink instant coffee rather than having a really good strong coffee. But we've been able to find beans along the way, and we have an espresso maker that we brought back from the States here in Guatemala, and that's what we drink every day. So when we're on our camping trips, that's one of the things that we're always looking for. We're always looking for a good coffee because we have tried multiple coffee ideas on the road. Everything from French presses to the pour over coffees, instant coffee. Like, we've tried a bunch of different things, all the stuff that they have at REI, we've given it a shot. But we always sort of come out wanting. Like, it's either not strong enough, or the capacity is too small, or it takes too long, or it requires electricity. There's all of these things that have sort of prevented us from having a really good cup of espresso in the morning. So we were doing searching online to see what options, additional options there could be for us. And we came across the nanopresso. And it's funny because we hadn't really seen it around. There weren't on the forums and on the Facebook groups, I wasn't really hearing anybody talking about it. And yeah, it is obviously a luxury item to have espresso at the campsite. But you'd think that with all the coffee lovers out there, this is something that you'd hear about, but we hadn't. Funny enough, the most recent Adventure Rider Radio episode had those 3 Australian guys who were doing their trip in Australia, and they mentioned the nanopresso. And I think Jim Martin, he actually sort of like blew past it. I think he said something about it, but didn't really question it. But it is definitely a game changer for us. And so you'll see it on Sunday's episode, but basically the short version is that it is a device that is powered by hand, sort of like a bicycle pump, that builds up the pressure that allows you to have espresso. It uses ground coffee. It doesn't have to be super fine, but it does need to be ground. And that allows us to get different types of coffee in the places that we travel. And that was what we really wanted, especially being here in like the coffee belt here in Guatemala. There's so many options, and we really want to be able to try them at the campsite. And Greg, you know, he just enjoys sort of getting it all set up and heating the water and then heating my milk if we're going to have a latte at the campsite. It's just sort of an enjoyable thing, and it's a process that you get to go through. And say, I'm just thinking back to the last trip that we did in Guatemala. On New Year's, we were by a river, and he was out there just enjoying the water flowing through and making his espresso for both of us. So You know, that's one luxury that makes camping for us better. And it doesn't make us feel like we have to rush in the morning to like get up and go and find a coffee shop in the next town. And here we're always sort of disappointed in the coffee that we end up finding. So this allows us to take our time in the morning. We can also boil water, put it in a thermos. Then in the for lunchtime, when we stop for a break, we can also have another coffee then. After our like lunch sort of slouchy time, it'll be a nice pick-me-up. So that gives us what we need and makes us feel good. And again, makes us more likely to camp, less likely to spend money on a hotel, and in this case, less likely to spend money on going to a coffee shop or trying to find a coffee shop. The other luxury item, which could be argued as not necessarily a luxury item, is Moxie's Tenderpaw Trekker bedroll. It's the bed that I carry for her everywhere we go. And I say it might not be a luxury because I know people will travel with their dog and not necessarily bring a bed specifically for them. But for me, it's really important because having that bed, it signals to Moxie that this is where she can be, this is where she can relax, and it's like a piece of home for her. So not only is it good at the campsite, but it's important for hotels as well that are not necessarily pet friendly. It makes the hotel staff feel at ease when I say, hey, my dog, she has a bed. So she's not going to be jumping up on your bed and making a mess. She's going to lay and sleep in her own spot. So in that case, it's not necessarily a luxury, but it can be considered a necessity for us to be able to get access to those types of places. I'm sure you guys all have your own little luxury items that you carry that take up space, that people would look through your stuff and be like, why are you carrying that? But for me, I am not ashamed of any of the stuff that I'm carrying. It's all really important to me and it makes traveling that much better. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what luxury items you guys carry along. I'll talk to you soon.